The last and final video of Games of Twilight. So the ending is obviously really important in this story. And here are 3 quotes taken from the ending. He alone left unconquered. So the he is Ravi, and he was the only one who hadn't conquered. He's unconquered. What does the word unconquered make you think of? Well, it makes me think of a king or somebody in battle, because we conquer something when we win a battle. And he was the one that was unconquered. He had not won. He was the only one who hadn't won. And the irony is that he thought that he was the winner. And the ignominy, the disgrace of being forgotten. He felt terrible about being forgotten and silenced by a terrible sense of insignificance. Some beautiful alliteration here, or sibilance, of the S sound. Silenced, we have the S here. We also have the S sound within the word. Silenced by a terrible sense, again at the beginning of the word and within the word, of insignificance. 3 in this last word. Here, here, and here. Why do you think that Anita Desai has used this alliteration at the end of the story? Well, perhaps because the S sound is a sinister sound. It reminds us of a snake hissing, and it is making us focus on the words silenced, sense, insignificance. So it really compounds, emphasizes Ravi's feeling of being forgotten. It's really, really sad, and the emphasis on those words compound that. Some symbolism in this story. The passage of time from the children leaving the house, like seeds from a crackling overripe pod, through to the funereal feel of the final game. Funereal is an adjective taken from the word funeral, so it makes us think of death. Represent one afternoon and evening in the life of a child, but they also support the idea of a lifetime passing. So moving from innocent childhood excitement through to the end of your life. And maybe this is Desai trying to remind us that life is a precious gift and it is all over far too quickly. And this probably is a good reminder for you right now in the run-up to your IGCSE exams, which are obviously very, very important, but it's also good to remind yourselves that your life passes by you quickly. And this is only one small step in your lifetime of work. And when you look back at it in a few years' time, it will seem tiny. I know it seems huge to you now, but it will seem tiny in the future. And this is also a time when you're leaving what has been safe for you, your school, you're leaving your friends, and so it's a big step in your life, and you could maybe compare yourself to Ravi in this story. So this symbolism continued. The shed. The shed symbolizes a grave for forgotten things, and with Ravi hiding in the shed and being forgotten, it is like the shed has become his grave. The shed probably has become a grave of his childhood innocence, which he has lost in this game of hide and seek. He's lost his protection, he's lost the protection of feeling that he is the most important person in the world. He suddenly realized he's learned a life lesson. And you might say that his childhood has died in this shed. Some themes in Games at Twilight. Well, clearly childhood is a significant theme in this story. The childhood play, the game of hide and seek, is in this story a very serious business. And the game of hide and seek shows that childhood is not always a happy and innocent time. Hierarchy is also a theme in this short story. And Desai gives us the idea that it's very difficult to be the youngest or smallest in a family because you're always the baby, and there's always people older than you telling you what to do, etc. And you look up to them, and you're always trying to be like your older brother or sister. It also shows us that sibling rivalry, that means the competition between brothers and sisters, can be fierce and competitive. Something I'm sure you can all appreciate. And it also shows us that young children are always desperate to be older and bigger. You know, when you're 6, all you want to be is 7. When you're 10, all you want to be is 12. When you're 15, all you want to be is 18. Pariah. What does a pariah mean? A pariah means that somebody who is excluded, someone who is excluded and made to feel uncomfortable and that they can't be a part of a situation. And this is definitely Ravi in this story. And it highlights the effects of exclusion towards others. So he is excluded in this story, and it shows us his feelings of being excluded. And it makes us empathize with him. Ravi is a pariah in the family because not through any purposeful vindictiveness, or they don't do it on purpose. It's just because he is the youngest. They don't see him as being important. Some more themes. We have ignominy, which means public shame or disgrace. The relationship between parent and child. You can see this also in quite a few of the short stories that we've read. You can see it in Of White Hairs and Cricket. You can see it in The People Before. You can see it in Tyres. And family is a theme. Life is very short and death awaits us all. You could link that with Of White Hairs and Cricket. The most important thing in life and death is to be remembered. And individuals don't really matter in the great scheme of things. Some essay questions to think about, and maybe you want to do a practice paper, a practice exam, and see how you would do answering these questions. These are questions that follow the format of previous IGCSE questions. Remember that this is the first time these short stories have been assessed, so there are no past papers. How does Anita Desai make a simple game of hide and seek so serious and violent in Games at Twilight? And you can see the keywords of the question have been bold and underlined. So the how. So you need to pick apart the ways in which she does this. A simple game of hide and seek. The word simple makes us think of childhood. And then it's serious and violent. So you would definitely want to talk about the hunting imagery. in this. So it's about a boy who lives in India and is playing hide and seek with his friends. He gets scared. Anita shows this because he's upset. What do you think about this paragraph? Is it good? Is it bad? Or is it ugly? Think about why as well. Well, it doesn't answer the question. Remember, I always tell you to answer the question. It doesn't matter if you desperately want to answer another question. Don't. Focus on the question. Use keywords from the question to help keep yourself focused. And he's playing hide and seek with his friends. So what? You give us nothing, well, sorry, not you. Because I wrote this, I give the reader of this essay nothing in this sentence. It's very vague. Anita, we don't use the first name of an author. We always use their surnames. We're not friends with them. He gets scared. Where is your quote to show this? Anita shows this because he's upset. Is very, very vague. And again, there's no quote to support it. So you don't have to have a quote to support every single point you make, but you do certainly need quotes within your paragraphs, particularly if it's a passage-based question. So this isn't ugly. This, however, is much better. So I suggest that you pause this video to read through this. Why is it such a good paragraph? Well, because I'm mentioning the name of the story. You don't have to do this in your exam because you are short of time. You only have 45 minutes, so you do really need to focus on analysing and on the critical part of your answer. Anita Desai, I've used her full name. Then the next time I use her name, I only use her surname. A simple game of hide and seek, serious and violent. I've used keywords from the question. I'm focusing on imagery with the hunting imagery. And I have used 3 quotes: blood-curdling yell, the pursuer, hear and tremble. And then I'm also talking about the suspense that is built up with this game of hide and seek and the hunting imagery. And I'm focusing on the fact that Anita Desai has chosen to do this. She's done it for a reason. And some more questions for you to think about or try and answer. What effect does the setting have on the reader in Games at Twilight? How does Desai make the suffering of Ravi so vivid for you in Games at Twilight? How does Desai make you sympathetic towards Ravi in Games at Twilight? How does Desai make you feel reading the ending of Games in Twilight? This could also be a passage-based question. How does Desai make you feel reading this part of the passage, this part of the story, this passage in the story in Games at Twilight? So that's the end of our analytical video Games at Twilight. I hope it's been helpful.